Hello everybody. So today we'll be dealing with what personality is and few things about personality. So personality is what makes us unique, and we talk to people in certain way, we deal with certain things in certain way, and that's happening because we are all of different personalities. So we'll dive right in as to see what personality is in depth. Yeah, so personality is the unique way of thinking, acting and feeling throughout one's life. You were born that way and you will be like that for the rest of your life. So some related terms and some terms that are always confused with personality is character. Character is something to do with the social component, which is how a person is judged based on their behavior in the society. So that is character. The next thing is temperament. Temperament is the biological component wherein it is innate and people are born with such things, and they are some of the characteristics that are going to be enduring in one's life. So what they tell us, personality is nothing but it's the character and temperament together. And also people have been studying a lot about personality. It is kind of difficult to actually study it empirically and scientifically, and that is why there are a lot of theories and perspectives that has been developed in the past years. And I'm going to talk about one such perspective or theory said put forth by the very famous Sigmund Freud. And before that, we'll just see what the definition of personality is. So personality is actually the traits and mechanisms within the individual that are enduring, and they are going to influence his or her interactions, and and it's going to have effect on the intrapsychic, physical environment. So this is the definition of personality. Sigmund Freud, a very known person in the field of psychology, he founded the psychoanalytic approach. So when we look back, he was born in the Victorian age, wherein there was a lot of sexual repression, meaning men dominated, and women's needs and desires were usually unfulfilled. Let's see how. So sexual intercourse without marriage was seen as a sin, and women must actually be morally excellent, which means they should, when they marry, they are supposed to bear children, and men can also have mistress. So men can actually satisfy their sexual needs while women should not, and it was a sin if they did so. Even if they had thoughts of some sexual need, it was seen as a sin. And wealthy women with unfulfilled sexual desires were mainly his patients, and that is when hysteria was all very popular those times. Now it is not. So this is psychoanalytic approach, and Sigmund Freud was the founder of this. So the psychoanalytic theory, one important part of it is the structure of human mind. So there are three. The first one is the conscious level, the second is the preconscious, the third is the unconscious. And Sigmund Freud basically emphasized on the unconscious level, which contains all of the repressed sexual desires that usually doesn't come out to our awareness, and procedures like hypnosis or dream analysis should be done in order to bring them back to our awareness. And the preconscious is the memories and stored knowledge that is there and can easily be brought to our awareness. And consciousness is the present awareness of us, and it contains all of our thoughts and whatever that we are doing right now. So these are the three levels. So he also spoke about something called as the structure of personality. It is of three parts again, and it is the id, ego and superego. So the id is the primitive and the most initial part, wherein it is the most selfish part. The infant, when we talk about the infant is really selfish, and it wants what it wants. If it's hungry and if it cries, the caretaker gives milk. So that's how it is. So this is called as the immediate satisfaction or gratification of the bodily needs. So this is id. Next comes ego. So ego is like the rational part. it knows when to do certain things and how to do it. Okay, so it is going to properly direct Eid in such a way that there is no negative consequences. It also works according to the reality principle, and Eid acts according to the pleasure principle, meaning there's always a need to increase pleasure. Next is superego. Superego is the moral aspect. Here, a person is basically praised or punished for whatever he does, and that's how this develops. So there's always a conflict between all of these three, and that is when we become anxious, and that is when we resort to something called as the defense mechanisms. So defense mechanism is like whenever people become anxious, they resort to these. For example, they resort to humor. So next is the psychosexual stages of development. They are divided into 5. The first is the oral stage, the second is the anal, the third is the phallic, the fourth is the latency stage, and fifth, the final one, is the genital stage. The first one happens in the newborns. So what happens is, there is something called as the erogenous zone, and that is there in the mouth region. So because as an infant, most of the things happens in the mouth area. So they drink, they eat, they suck things, so that's everything happening in the mouth area. So what happens if there is problem in this stage, or Freud calls this as fixation. Fixation meaning if there's a conflict or a problem in the particular stage. So what happens is, the person, when they become adult, they might have some problems like smoking or drinking, and also nail biting. So that is the first stage. The second is the anal stage. This is happening around the till 3 years of a person's life. So here the basic thing is toilet training, how to eliminate feces. So there is 2 things here. The infant might become anal expulsive or anal retentive. So meaning when the development is not proper during this stage, so as an adult, the person might either become so messy or so orderly. Okay, so that is the second one. The third one is happening in the 3 to 6 years of time. So here, this is when so much of concentration is given on the genitals, because they are developing. They are curious as to what it is, and they want to know what it is. So they can either be confused with their sexual identity if there is a problem in this stage. And also Freud also mentioned about something called as the Oedipus complex, wherein the boy child develops feelings for the mother here. So that is Oedipal complex. Next is latency stage. So latency, latent meaning hidden. So what is hidden here is the sexual urges, and all of that is, all of that was seen in the previous stage, because here most of the energy of the child is going to be spent on the social or physical development, wherein they work together, they play together. Girls play with girls and boys play with boys here. So this is again a very important stage for communication and all. So the next stage is the final one, which is the genital stage. So they want to fulfill their sexual desires with the opposite sex. So that is genital stage. So if any problem happens in any one of the stage, it will result in fixation. And that was what I was discussing earlier. Yeah, so thank you.